Good evening, Board of Education. My name is Michael OuYang, a senior who has been a part of the school district since kindergarten at Enders Road. I've been the class office vice president, National Honor Society secretary, and officer in the student council. I am a link crew leader and a dance marathon MC, leading the school's biggest fundraising event of the year. I am an accomplished musician in the symphony and chamber orchestra. I am involved with many clubs and have a great relationship with the faculty and staff. I have 99th percentile test scores and will graduate at the top of my class this June. I've taken the hardest courses FM has to offer, facing the academic rigor that is demanded for distinguished colleges to even notice you. In fact, I am attending Brown University in the fall to major in public health on the pre-med track. Sam, I forgot your phone. Can you bring it up for me, please? However, I do not touch on these things to brag, but rather to show who I am, who we are. As you look around the room, you can see FM's pride and FM's joy. They're students. Sitting with us today are class presidents, Science Olympiad captains, Model United Nations chairs, all-state musicians, musical leads, D1 athletes, and everything in between. We have trialed and triumphed through every experience FM has to offer. We are the shining product of the pressure cooker that is high school. We represent the school. But amidst all of these achievements, I, like most students, feel empty. And in the past years of high school, this emptiness has spiraled into a void of depression. So depressed to the point where I was in the darkness of my own room, staring at pictures of slit wrists and necks like it was eye candy. I was so jealous of those pictures, wishing I had the confidence to finally rip apart my own skin. My own mind had me, a 17-year-old with his whole life ahead of him, stabbing his wrists and digging keys into the side of his head. My depression led me to driving myself to the urgent care on Thanksgiving night, missing my last Thanksgiving meal at home because I kept repeatedly telling myself, I just want everything to end, I just want everything to end, I just want everything to end. I was at a point where I was searching up painless ways to kill myself in my basement, seriously trying to figure out how I could disappear from everyone's lives. And who knows if I would be standing here today if I didn't get caught on my computer that night. Behind my story that I describe is probably one similar to Jay's. No one knows how Jay felt in his head. But if he felt any way that I did, he must have come home after every school day, disgusted, infuriated, and overwhelmed with himself. He must not have been able to stand the way he looked or the way he acted, begging to magically disappear and not wake up the next day. But none of us knew, and we would have to live with the preventable pain from Jay's moment of vulnerability for the rest of our lives. I promise to speak here tonight, to not argue with or berate anyone, but to simply just give new and crucial information that cannot be ignored. As some of you may know, a few months ago, I completely opened up about my mental health struggles on Instagram. A 10-page essay explaining every thought and every experience I've endured. I was sick of hiding, but I also believed that this was the best way to show that we are all the same. And the perspective I can offer that no other faculty or student can is that along with a community of 1,200 students that have banded together with me, hundreds of them have reached out to me privately expressing the similarities they share. Michael, these words make me feel less alone. Michael, I felt like you were reading off the words that race through my head every day. Michael, I almost killed myself too. FM, so many students are suicidal and crying for help. And if you don't believe me, in a survey I conducted last week from a pool of half the student body, 700 students, 62% of them have recorded that they have had suicidal thoughts, and 87% said they have had some form of anxiety, depression, or severe emptiness. Jay was not an outlier, rather a part of the disheartening majority. 62%. 62% of students that walk through the Fayetteville Manlius doors every morning have wanted to end their life. Look around this room and let it sink in that more than every other student in this room has wanted to kill himself. And if you really think about it, any percentage above 0 should have an urgent call to action. 0.5%, 1%, 3%, just one student. But instead, in this toxic learning environment that 72% of students attest to, it has led 62% of them to thinking that their life has nothing worth living for. And keep in mind, as I alluded to before, I'm not here to berate any faculty. In fact, some of the counselors have helped me tremendously. One might have honestly saved my life. But for a dozen counselors to ensure the mental wellness of 1,400 students is impossible. Look at the graphs. 81% of students don't feel comfortable going to their counselors. 87% do not know there are family school liaisons in the school district. 98% of students do not know about the 3-pack. 98% of students do not know about the free and effective therapy sessions offered to every student. It is evidently clear we are doing something so blatantly wrong for these numbers to be astronomically high. 93% of students believe that the administration does not effectively communicate these resources, and this detrimental issue will remain if nothing changes. And that cannot be ignored. Most of us here are graduating in 2 months. It is extremely easy for us seniors to honor Jay's life and forget about the entire FM community that we are leaving behind. But we are worried for the next generations of students to come. It is far too apparent that depression is pervasive in our school, and this information simply cannot be ignored anymore. These statistics cannot be overlooked, and Jay's life cannot be forgotten. We cannot wait for another devastating loss. Something needs to change, and the time is now. It rips my heart apart to think that there will be one less person at graduation than on Link Crew Day for the class of 2024. And it is even more heart-wrenching to see a community not enact change for something so easily preventable. All of us can do better. Thank you for your time. We love you, Jay, and we will honor you for the rest of our lives.